Anyways, welcome you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Believe it or not, he's 10 years older than me. Sometimes I think he's 30 years younger than me. So many of you probably know from the previous years, we've had a sit-down talk, myself and Chester. Mostly, I'm moderating, by the way. He's going to be the voice. And so if you're really interested in a more full story, last year I think would be a good one, where we really stepped through Chester's life story in dance and how he got involved in the dance. And the thing is about Chester Whitmore is he does so much things, let's just say, from when I met him as a beginner. He's a musician. He arranges music. He's a big band leader. He's a tap dancer, you know that. He's a jazz dancer, of course. You know he's a swing dancer. He does several different swing dances. He's also an actor. He's also a performer in all these things. He'll perform anything and anywhere, any place. He's also a stunt man, very famous. Well, he's a very famous stunt man, if believe it or not. He's been beat up by very famous people. Let's say he's also stage. He's a stage manager. He's obviously what's the word for it? I guess you could say a full stage show presentator, choreographer, block huge productions and musicals. Not just specifically the dance choreography, but the whole production he can do as well. His fight choreography is actually incredible. If you've ever seen him do that, that's remarkable. It's similar to dance choreography, because he will count you in 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's just so many things that he's done, and he still does them to this day. And I can't remember, I think it's on the tape last year when I first met you. We talked about it before. I think it was with Eddie Reed, big band, in the early 90s. And he's still doing it today, and we keep crossing paths somewhere in the world. But we both grew up very, very close to each other. And now we're both on other sides of the planet. But we still keep crossing paths, which is a pleasure for myself, because he's such an icon to me, and I want to share him as much as possible. So as fast as possible, what I would like to get you all to do is to please have some questions, anything, because this guy knows so much, questions that we can address to Chester. But I need to get you to start talking, so let's get your mic going. How many years have you been here? This is what we're talking about here, you guys. This is what we're talking about. Okay, this is the route we're going to go. This is bad for me, because, and for them, Chester. They don't want to hear me anymore.
Oh, why not?
Come on.
If it wasn't for Peter, and I'm telling you, we hung out and rehearsed at his shop, tattoo shop. And we would learn so much stuff. And we would be up, like 2 or 3 in the morning. The shop was to be closed. And you drive by the window, and there's a bunch of fog, mist. And you look real hard, you just see dancers. It's a tattoo shop? He would have us out there, we would be dancing and keeping and learning. Very curious mind, but it's good. You have to have that, because he keeps it going. So he's one of the instructors that I know that maintains a pure art of vernacular jazz dance. There's a lot of teachers out there, and they're good. But talking about purists as well as keeping the energy and flowing free, these are the ones you want to get. So, you got Peter here, y'all. Give him.
I have something I would like for you to comment on, because I always bring this up, or often I bring this up in classes, and it's something, of course, I learned from you in the very beginning. And I think it was because we were complete beginners, and then you booked us to dance on cable television to perform. And this is when we were still counting. Literally we were counting, still doing swing outs, beginners. And we were all panicking. We always panicked. And we were so worried about making mistakes. And of course, your philosophy, and Sugar is the same philosophy as you, of course, Sugar Sullivan. But Chester was like, don't even worry about getting the choreography right. look up, smile, just keep going. Nobody knows the choreography in the first place that's watching you. They're not judging you on how well you can do the choreography because they don't have you're on television, for Christ's sakes. People are just watching a dance performance. But we were so freaked out that the right foot had to be on 3 kicking and all this shit. And but your philosophy was smile, look up, keep going, and think ahead in the choreography.
Way ahead.
Think way ahead in the choreography and just fake it until you get to that point and get back into the choreography instead of trying to catch that step that just went past you. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else you could comment about that or say about that when you're performing or you're just having, whatever the case may be? Maybe it's a contest, but performing or competitiveness, when you're learning choreography and you're doing it, and you're freaked out because you might get it wrong, what's your philosophy on that? Or what, do you have anything else to say about making mistakes in your dancing while
I make mistakes all the time. When I wake up in the morning, I made a mistake. You create new steps when you make a mistake. You get out there and do a dance and you're meant to go here, and your shoelaces get caught up and you slip and fall, but you catch the girl backwards, and bring it back here, He said, and everybody go, that was a cool step, And I go, yeah, I meant to do that, yeah. So, but new things come out of that. If you look at it not as a mistake, but going, that is another different way, interesting way. What would happen if I did do it that way? Those are avenue doors that are opening up for you to do. And you explore those different things. I worked on a step one day. It was a tap dance routine, and I was ready. I worked on this thing for a whole week, and this band was playing, and the stage was almost as wide as this, and the band was playing, and I went up. I had these new fancy steps. I said, I'm gonna knock them dead. Yeah, I got them good with this one. And I would go out and had the music, and I would turn around, and I go, ha, hey, and I'd spin around, and I had all this stuff. I said, you ready for tonight? I said, yeah. And my first step was a curtain, curtain like this. And the band goes, dun, 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 boom, da 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 da. That's the intro, right? I said, I don't want to walk out like this into this dance. No, I said, I'm going to do, what's that? I said, play that again. I said, dun, 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 dun. I was behind the curtain, right? Let me hear you guys go, dun, 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 go. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, they're good. So I'm getting ready to go. I'm counting off and go. Dun, 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 dun. Then I go into the dance, right? And I was going to do this thing. Okay, see you later on. Go have dinner. Come back. I left. They waxed the floor. They waxed the entire floor. I didn't know it. I come back in. And while I'm in the air, in real time, it happened quick, right? As soon as I hit the tap on the floor, it says, shook. And I'm in the air. To me, it's just in slow motion. I'm going. And I was in my mind like, they waxed the floor. It was too late. I'm in the air. So I go, bam, at the same time, dun, 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 dun. Right? Perfect musicality.
You did it on purpose.
And I knew something. I took that bump on the rump, and I bounced back up, boom. I was in pain. All this was messed up. I was in pain, but I had to go. But in my head going, oh, you're going to die. How long is the number? 3 minutes. It didn't stop there. I went across the floor, and I'm going skid, scot, scoot, trying not to break my neck for 3 minutes, going across the floor. And people thought it was, oh, that's a cool step. Oh, do you see that move? And when I got to the end, you know how the band goes, I was dying. I said, I got to get off the stage. I grabbed the curtain. I was like, and they said, bravo. I said, thank you. So you got to keep going.
The professionalism of Chester. And I also got some really good pointers from you one time. Believe it or not, this is many years ago. This was actually in Harang. And I remember you had hurt your foot. You had to go to the hospital and you had wrapped up and you had a crutch and everything. And I was like, how is Chester going to teach? I'm going to watch this class. And I went and I watched those classes. And they were so eye-opening. He sat in a chair the whole time. And he had his little, what we call a rhythm stick. Dizzy Gillespie used to have this stick with all these little thimbles on it and little finger cymbals attached to it. So he could, and it had a rubber, it's a wood stick, but it had a rubber tip on the bottom. And he would just use it for his teaching class. Ching, ching, ching. And he had a stick similar to that. I was like, wait a minute, I had just seen that stick at the Lionel Hampton archive.
Boomstick.
Yeah, boomstick. And there's Chester teaching, sitting in a chair. Don't do the. I was just shocked to see you teach so well, sitting in a chair and not standing, and everybody gets it. And your classes are not easy. They're extremely hard, extremely difficult classes. They're insane, right? Beginner, intermediate level, around the back, throw, boom, lift. And you're not even standing up to demonstrate it. It's absolutely incredible. Another thing that I learned from you was how important it was, and it was you and one other person. You were the first one to recommend it, and that was you need to practice by yourself. And you were very polite about it, actually. And you actually invited me over to your house, I believe, and I would dance with your son at the time, Chester Jr. I think he was around 10. And we practiced, you know, and he just kind of kept telling me how important it is to practice. And I was not into practicing. I just want to go dancing. I just want to social dance every night. I hate practicing. I don't want to practice. So that was the first, you planted that seed in me. I didn't really take it super serious. But then there was an old-time Balboa dancer that told me, in a not a very nice way, he said to me, what did he say to me? What on God's green earth makes you think you can do that step with somebody in your arms if you can't even do it by yourself? And then Chester was like in the back of my head. I'm like, fuck, Chester was right. And that was the very first time I put the tail between my legs and I went home and I started actually practicing by myself. So what do you have to say about practicing by yourself? Is there any tips or techniques for swing dancers and jazz dancers to practice by themselves? I have my ideas, but you've been doing this really long.
I call a lot of dancers, like I work with groups, different dance companies. You can learn a step if you want it to be embedded into you. And you guys got to understand, when you see a step, you say, I want that step. So that means you got to open up yourself to get it here so it goes all the way down. When you're out there on the floor, you have to get the step, and you got to go in so much that, I got to have it done without knowing nobody. Because when you're up there, if you notice, we had class today. People go in there, you have a tendency to get a step, and you do this. You just look down, you know. And then the second thing is, I call it handicaps. When you look at the mirror is good to a degree, to a limit, but it handicaps you. Use the mirror to get your form and your position. Don't do it a lot when you're dancing by yourself and the music is on, because you start looking at yourself doing stuff. And when groups come in, and so let's run the routine. Notice everybody in the class start looking at the mirror. I said, do you know the choreography? Do you know the dance? Oh, yeah, I got it. They're doing it like that. So there's a trick I always do. I go, okay. I'll tell you what. Turn around towards me. Get away from that mirror. All right, now do the dance. Watch what happens. Blah, disaster. Because that inner self is gone. You're not secure. You got to be secure in knowing the step going to be here, or the feel, going. It has to be here, and it got to be here, because there's a lot of things happening. Till you feel secure in yourself, then you can dance with a dance partner. Both of you guys secure yourself, then we start fading energy back to each other. You have to dance with somebody so much you can feel where they got hands, both of them move, hands, everybody moves the same way because you're secure. Then that spreads to trios. It spreads to quartets. It spreads to a whole company. And that means, thank you. Okay. It means that you are holding down the anchor. You're securing yourself. If you're dancing with other people, some people might know the choreography, somebody might not. But you're so secure in yourself because you could do it. It's here. I don't need the mirror. Because only people going to be there. There ain't going to be no mirror. There's going to be people, audiences looking at you. And so you have to start doing that. And once you do that, I guarantee you, no matter where you're at, that when music hits, you're going to go, oh, muscle memory. It's going to happen. If you're going to look down, don't look directly down, because if you dance here, nobody wants to see this. They want to see this. So if you look down like this, outward, so they can see you that way.
Look down and out.
Down and out.
Out. Good one. Very good. So, this is the moment. I would love to open it up to all of you. If you have any type of questions, comments, it could be about anything. Sure. Go for it.
Do it. You can use a microphone, girl.
Just so you're on the video.
Would you mind sharing a little bit about chorus line? What it is, why it's important, what thing they were used to doing, just some stories about chorus line.
Oh, okay, chorus line. Chorus line women, especially the 1900s, going into the 20s, chorus line women are really securely important, especially in the jazz idiom, okay? They were the bookkeepers of jazz techniques during the time. The men took the dance steps and they did it, but they specialized in it. They would do variations and create it out. But as far as maintaining where the dance new craze would come out, the women did it. They maintained it, precision and stuff out there. It was very rare you would see, of course, in the 1800s, in a chorus line. You wouldn't see that. Yeah, but when Tin Pan Alley started evolving and stuff, the women would get together and they would maintain a certain step. And the thing is, whatever the new step that was, they went into a community, like a household. All steps come out of a community. We call it the hood, It's true, like in the hip hop, it's the hood. What's the latest dance step? Oh, da, 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 da. Same way in tap dancing, same way in jazz. It started in a community, then it was spread out. Then everyone said, oh, what's that new step? I want to learn how that. Oh, what? Then this next neighborhood, then it gets the city. Then the community of people start to go, ooh, I want to know what that is. The chorus girls would lock it in, and they would do it because they love to get together, and they would do the step, and they would utilize it. a club would take it and then have, hey, did you see that new dance step they're doing? And then another club owner would get pissed off, mad. How come my chorus girls are not doing that? Then he started yelling at the chorus girls like, how come you do? They're over there, they're packed house. They're packing the house because they're doing that new dance. How come you don't know the dance? Well, learn the dance so they can be in competition. And each club owner, and we would do that. You know, different steps. We were talking about what can be a main step, or exit step, a travel step. Whoever came up with the best one. But mainly the girls were maintained and hold the choreography. What was that step that was done tonight? Said, oh no, it went like this. And they would do it.
Why do you think there was no men chorus?
They were chorus boys though. They were chorus boys, but nobody just, you know, they would just do that. They would, hey, the guys like to go see the girls. Burlesque. Different, you know. But it's true. But they had chorus boys again. But when you see the chorus boys do it, they usually break off into sections of solos. You see, and they would do specialties within themselves. We'll start off as a team and do certain stuff. You know, I guess the guys would have to do something completely different because the girls dominated the kick.
But also too, when it comes to all these ballroom clubs, especially in Manhattan and New York, you had floor shows. Floor shows were always a ballroom couple, a tap dancer, and a chorus line girls. That didn't change until the late 30s, where you had like modern dancers come in and start mixing up, you know, philosophies like, what's his name, Cole?
Jack Cole?
Jack Cole.
Jack Cole.
He was very famous for that. But the competition, getting what she's talking, and you're both beating around it a little bit, is that in Harlem especially, all the clubs, the chorus line girls, they were in competition against each other, trying to be better than the other girls because it would bring in customers to the club. So they would have competitions every year in Harlem for who had the world's greatest chorus line girls. And then whoever wins this competition, that club gets to advertise world's greatest chorus line girls.
Yeah, there was the chocolate dandies and the so-and-so.
The rug cutters.
The rug cutters.
And it wasn't until, this is I want to get you on this because I only know a little bit about this, talking to Leonard Reed. Leonard Reed discovered in the rules of the chorus line girl rules was you didn't even have to have a club to enter the chorus line girls competition. So Leonard Reed decided to put together a group of girls and compete. And he called them the Reedettes. And of course, he won. So he had the world's greatest chorus line girls. However, he didn't have a club. And he went on tour across America with the world's greatest chorus line girls. And he went all the way to Los Angeles with the Reedettes. And I think one of them was his wife, maybe?
His first wife.
Can you tell us about...
I think it was...
it's the early 40s. And anyways...
And it was after... That one was after the Shim Sham.
Oh, yeah.
Anna was the first one. And
right, just so people know, Leonard Reed, who I just mentioned, he invented the Shim Sham. That's how he's most famously known. But he's also a two-time Charleston champion.
Yeah.
He's also stage manager of the Apollo Theater for 30 years. He was the first African-American on the Professional Golf Association Tour. I can't remember how many lives this person has actually led. And of course, he was on radio. He did plenty of skits at the Apollo Theater as well, performing. And with his Reedettes, when he came across the country getting back on track with the chorus line girls, with the competitions and so forth. And then, of course, Norma talks about it a little bit. They talked about the Radio City Rockets, I suppose.
Rockets, they went against them. They were against them, too.
Right.
He got them up that high class. Rockets were like big chorus line girls. They were like it.
That's the king of the king.
Yes,
right.
That's it. And his group was like wham, right up there. I said, ooh. But see, they had an advantage though, because they had Leonard. You know, Leonard was like, okay, you can do that step like that, but don't do that step like that. You're gonna do it like this, because everybody was doing like this group of challenge, this group this, but everybody was doing the step. He can do that, but Leonard was like he create some stuff in that outrage. These girls would do like some stuff, and it got like, you know how certain girls had certain steps you have to do a certain way. Them girls broke the rules. They broke the rules. I mean, they would jump, they have heels on, they turn and drop, and then do a high kick. I was like, woo. But that's Leonard's trademark. I mean,
And Norma said he was mean.
Yes, he was.
To put it very nicely. I think he had something like a horse crop or something. And he would like whap, like hit the dancers. No, whap. Lift your feet higher, whap, you know. But those are the days where people wanted to be the best, and they were professionals, and people were willing to accept that, you know, go, okay, fine, higher, but today you get the bird, and like, I'm never taking a class from you again. Times were different.
I told you the story how I learned Leonard, right?
Yeah.
When I first met him, right?
I don't remember exactly.
Oh, God. That was, they asked me, where were the 3 teachers that was hardest on me?
Okay.
It was, in order, it would be John Bubbles, Norma Miller,
And Leonard.
and then Leonard Reed. You know, because when I didn't know, I heard, who's this Leonard Reed guy? I don't know who. So it was Rainbow Studios across from Capizio's studio. And I was delivering the shoes and stuff over there. And I had this package, and I had to get it in. And I think they mistaken me for something. They were doing a show, Harlem Express. It was Harlem Express. He said, had chorus line, and a band up there, and Leonard's bandman on the piano. And I run up with the packages. And he looks at me, and I'm here, and he kind of stopped the piano and just looked at me like this. I said, delivery? He said, yeah, just place it over there. Then I said, okay. Everything, I'm looking around, wow, this looks good. And I'm about to walk away. He said, stop! He said, you! I said, yes, you're late. I said, yes, I know, I'm sorry, I'm late. Get over here. I said, what? Get over here. I said, well, sir, he said, get over. And the people back behind him going, just get over.
Because you're just supposed to be delivering
That's it.
shoes.
That's it.
And then leaving.
That's it.
Okay.
And he threw me in there. He said, now we're going to take it from this next chorus. I said, what? You know? And I'm next to somebody. They're looking at me. And they said, just don't argue. Just don't argue. I said, okay. I'm looking at people going, how you doing? Angela T, the vocalist, all of them were there. I'm going. He said, now, we're going to do this song and take it from the top, pronunciate the words, and go. And he go, here we go. And all these people start going. He said, it went, I said, the Harlem Express coming your way. Look out. Look out, and look out. And I'm going like, this is pretty good. You know, and they do a singing in the choir. And he said, cut. You. I said, what? You're not singing. Well, I'm sorry. Sing. Okay. Express, and I'm trying to, what's the words? They're gone. They're not paying attention to me. And they're going, look out. Look out. He stop. Sing, sing, sing. And I said, I don't know the word. And they said, don't argue with him. Just, so I just start mouthing. You know, they go, they're singing, make it express. And I'm doing their little chord. And then he goes, I get past that. He said, good. He said, I said, oh, man. He said, now, time for choreography. I said, they are running, knocking me down. I'm falling off. They ran me down. I hopped up. This is enough. This is enough. I'm sorry. I think you're mistaking me from somebody else. Your package is there. This has been an experience. I'm out of here. And I walked out the door. He said, hey, you. What? tomorrow at 8 in the morning. That's it.
Nice.
And that's how I met Leonard in Rainbow Studios.
That's Leonard Reed.
That's Leonard Reed. And to come to pass, and if those who knew Norma, you know how Norma is. Norma is hardcore, like, no, do stuff like this. No, not that. She's hardcore, you know. And I had to tell dancers that some dancers got intimidated. They were, oh, I don't want to take no lessons from her. If she's yelling at you on it, it means she wants you to get the step. She's taking that time with you to get it. Those instructors that are on you, clinching you, that means you want to get the step. The ones that go, oh, yeah, you'll get it, walk away. Those are the ones you got to worry about. You know, and I did, it was so funny. In full circle, it was funny. Working with Norma and Leonard, and I worked with Archie Savage. Archie, and he was my first Lindyhop teacher, but Norma was my main one. And then I come to ask, Archie, who was your teacher? He said, Norma Miller. Isn't that crazy? And then I go with Norma, who did your jazz learn? Leonard Reed. So you can see the trail of how they all teach. It goes around, you know. It was crazy, but they demanded excellent. They want to see you go for it, you know. You know, the thing with Norma is Norma's good with, if you can dance, she's good with that. She can take you and mold you. Don't put her in a beginning class. No. She said, even she had to admit, I have to find my limitations because what I can do, I'm good with people that can dance and I can take you and mold you and move you and make you look good. But at beginning, we lost so many gigs. New York City. I don't know why. How did we get that gig? Oh, a ballet company hired us to teach them swing. Yeah, we could do that swing stuff. It's easy. That's what they said. There's 40 ballerinas in this classroom. They hired Norma Miller. I said, oh, this is going to be suicide. This is not going to work. You know, Norma said, come on, Chester, come with me. I said, I don't think this is a good idea, Norma. Come on, we got to do to teach this class. And I said, before you go on, Norma, let me go on a little bit before you. And I took all the dancers in the room. Let me give them a disclaimer. I said, now, you have a legendary lady here, and she's going to teach you. What I would hopefully ask you, please don't ask her, what number is this? 4, 3, 2. Do not ask her. Just listen, try to internally get it, and do the best you can. Oh, it can't be that hard. Will you please do what I say? And you know, so we get in there, and she gets up, and now, the first step is this, and now we gotta do this, and now we gotta do this. Okay, put the music on. Dun, 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 dun. Music is gone. Dun, dun, it's count bass, of course, you know, count bass and music. Dun, 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 dun. Now you hit it, and then they're trying to G-kick, and they're trying to boogie. Have you ever seen ballet people boogie back? Have you ever seen boogie back? You know, boogie back, you gotta get, you get on down with it, ballet people. Bunny hop, you know, and I'm looking at this. And I'm trying to keep myself together. One girl says, "Excuse me, Miss Miller, is the hop on the floor, or the?" And I'm in the background going like this. The next scene, you see, the door opens up. These kids running out crying. They're all running out, like crying. And the manager and people, what's going on in that room? What's going on? They tears coming out their eyes. And one guy, he said, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? She said I was dead. I said, what? She said I was dead. And she said, I can't hear the music, so you must be dead if you can't hear the music. So all the kids thought they were dead. They were just crying. And then Norma, and here, me and Norma walking out the door. I said, I think that went well, don't you? She said, another gig. I said, Norma, we can't go on like this. This is going. But she came to realize, I can't teach no beginning class. So she started teaching a lot of advanced people and stuff, and they learned a lot from her. You sit down and learn,
But you mentioned John Bubbles as being the most difficult teacher.
Oh, God,
the hardest on you, I guess. Right?
Yeah, one of the hardest. Yes.
So what did he do that was so demanding, that made him unique?
I think it was okay. When I met Bubbles, he had a stroke, and it was right here. His arm was, and he was in a wheelchair. I met him. I'm going, I hit one of the world's greatest dancers, and this is a guy that created rhythm dancing. I'm going, what? He's in a wheelchair, And then I met him. He was doing the documentary 76. Oh, tap dancing, Christian Blackwell. If you ever can get that video, Christian Blackwell's tap dancing, and it was just resurgence of tap. It was just starting, and I was there, and he met me, because Bayard and everybody, Honey Coles and all of them. And he said, I want you to come over to the house and learn. If Ronnie Marshall was there and all of us. And he said, that step you did was nice, but it's not good. That's not an opening number. I wouldn't step up with it. And I said, well, what would you start off with? You got to know, your poise is wrong, and this is this, and you got to do. I said, dog, he's dogging me out. He was just dogging me out. He said, now, let's take it to the beginning. I said, and he was scat. And he was scat. And I said, oh, okay, what's a bee-bop, a boo-boo-bop? I'm trying to figure out what it is. He said, drop the heel down from here to left, right. He said, go behind the refrigerator. And I go behind the refrigerator, and it would be a board. And he connects it to his wheelchair. And I have to stand at him. He said, stand right there. And this is what I want you to do. He did your part. And he had two fingers. He put it on that board in front of me like this. And he'd tell me how to walk. And I had to take, it's like that. I had to poise like this. He tells me how to lunge into it like that, leaning into the lunge. His fingers would do that. And I said, this man is doing, that's how I did the Sim Sham. Him and Leonard got together. Let's do the Sim Sham. I said, Leonard, he's in a wheelchair. Shut up. Both of them, great. Push it. And that's how we learn the poise. And then you say 3 heels, da ba ba, da ba ba, not single triple. It's da da da, da da da. So I go da da da. And then he said, roll off of it, da 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 da. So I have 5 beats. He said, now I want you to do that going forward. Rolling cramp rolls, moving forward. And he would show us different rhythm stuff, And I said,
he was just demanding the difficulty of the material. He was just very demanding.
Very demanding. And stuff that, I didn't understand some of the things. I said, well, it doesn't the tank go like that? Yeah, I know it goes like that. But I want you to do it like this. Like I had to learn I learned his basic, rhythm turns. He said, now put a hop into it. Then I made my ear go, oh, I hear something completely different. And then he said, I want you to hop back instead of forward. And then when you hop back, you're going to hear a tone, weight distribution. Now you're making tones with your tap, not like that, It's like, how many do West African drumming? Rhythm dancing. Okay, I can do a time step like, that's like, it's good. And it's good for chorus line because everybody has to be in one. If you're doing, as a soloist, you got to take that rhythm and change it up. It has to have highs and lows, not just. He said, drop your heel and push your stomach like, ooh, like the air going out. So my weight is going down here. And then not just hop, I push into it. So instead of going, now it goes like, it's different. It's groove. You got a groove in it. Ooh, ah. You know? And all that was just a time step. I didn't get into the thing. Yeah. I didn't get into nothing. And he said, and my brain was going, what are you talking about? Just do what I say. I said, okay. I don't want you to get another stroke and have both hands like, you know, so.
That's amazing. I think we have time for one more. Yes, of course. You have a mic.
Is it yeah, it's working.
Wow.
I would love to ask you if you ever worked with any burlesque artists and legends back in the days, and what was that experience?
Burlesque artists? Oh, God. You know, I have, believe it or not. I didn't even know. You know Sanford and Son?
Of course.
Sanford and Son was a comedy show. And the lady was called Aunt Esther. She was always arguing at him. Fred, you're gagging at him. On TV, you look at her, this little old lady. But she was a burlesque queen.
Yep.
She was a burlesque queen. And she would, and I said, Aunt Esther, she's a comedian. I see her on TV. They said, no, you need to see her a long time ago. And I said, I've been knowing her. She never told me this. And I said, were you a burlesque? Oh, yeah, come over and let me show you something. Had these incredible photographs from the 40s, 50s. She would come out on stage with this incredible, beautiful suit, and then would do this number. Now, her finale blows your mind. She came out with a snake, a boa constrictor. A whole snake would come right and crawl while she's dancing with the band is playing. The band was terrified. They said, you bringing a snake on stage? And she would do that. What's that, Temptation? Yep. Now I said, wow. She was, I worked with her. I worked with, have you heard of Sir Lady Javala? I worked with Sir Lady Javala. She was this, you know. I mean, now that's interesting. Sir Lady Javala, she's one of the most beautiful women in the world. But the problem is she wasn't a woman, she was a man. She was a man. You know, and sold out houses. Just sold out. I didn't know she was a man either. I got out of high school. My friends take that. Oh, you know how the guys say, hey, let's go to the club. Chester, I'm going to take you to the club. I said, okay, where we going? I'm going to the club. Wee. I go to the club. Who's this? Sir Lady Javala. Oh, okay. They set me up, though. They set me up too bad. I get up there, and they said, sit right here in the club. Oh, I got a good seat. Then the lights go down. Dun, dun. Boom, dum, dum, da, 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 da. And all you see is this leg comes out of the curtain. Whop, bam, boom, boom, boom. And then there's glitter with these hands. Da, 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 bam. She comes out. The whole club goes crazy. I said, wow, the first number. She comes out. She did a whole hour. A whole hour. And it was real gorgeous, just beautiful. Good, all the stuff. I'm like, huh? She did 4 in an hour. She would do like about 12 minutes the first one. The band would do, she featured somebody in the band, and she rotates. She had planks on the edge of her clothes, and her clothing was there. She didn't have to run back. She would come in this way, and they were hooked off. And then she came back through, and it's a completely different wardrobe. Boom, boom, and she would, and then the third number, she'd be on the piano. Then she would do something with the piano player, and they had a skit. And she did this one number at and she ran. I was the victim. Talk about lap dancing.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Now I get your seating.
Now you see like that. Now I was see. She just came to me. I'm like, I was just mesmerized, And she was singing la 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 la. I'm like, wow. And then when she got off my lap and went over to the side, a guy walked up to me behind me and said, sorry, that's a man. I said, whole emotions. I said, I couldn't say anything. That's all I could say. I said, well, that was one of the best shows I ever seen. That's all I could say. But yeah, there was a lot of burlesque, especially in Los Angeles. Los Angeles. They were out there, and they were in competition too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. One more question. I'll make Chester answer it shortly.
Okay.
Time for one more question. I know you have one. I know people are always scared to ask questions. No problem.
Hello. Maybe you can answer it. Can you go back in time when you started dancing? And I don't know, what kind of advice would you give to that person when you started dancing?
Say that.
Oh, that's a great question.
What
advice would he give to himself?
Yeah, like when he started dancing at the beginning of the journey.
What advice would you give yourself as a kid when you're first starting to dance? When you first discovered dancing?
Oh, when I first discovered dancing.
What advice would you give yourself?
And I went back in time.
Yes.
And told myself something.
Yes.
Yes.
You're going to have hell, buddy. If you want to do this, I'm going to say, are you sure you really want to take this journey? And I think doing something like that, and at that time when I was doing it, I kind of knew what I wanted. I didn't know that I wanted to be a performer. I knew I liked dancing. I liked it. And I didn't even know that because I was a filmmaker then, but that opened the door. I liked it, and I discovered that I could dance because I didn't think about that. I would go see dancers dance, and I go, yeah, that's great. Me on stage and stuff, never did think about that until other people said do it, and I found out that I can do and execute, and I was gathering information. Seeing something, if I had to go back in time, I would just tell myself, take in everything you're going to do. If you're going to do it, take in and go full force. Don't let nothing get in your way, no obstacles, no negativity, none of that stuff like that. Just stay on it. Because if this is what you want to do, or you're going to do it, it's going to be very rewarding. Because, you can dream a lot of stuff. And a lot of your friends might say, which my high school days they did. I used to say, I'm going to see the world one day. Oh, yeah, Chester, you're so funny. The same people that laughed at me and used to say, no, 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 or the same people that are, can I buy a ticket to your next show? So it's a big difference. No, just stay positive. I would probably say that to myself. Just say, keep going forward. Stay positive.
That was a great question, actually. I appreciate that. Obviously, now is the time. We're out of time. But of course, number one, I want to thank you guys for showing up because to me, I think Chester's such an important person, not just in my personal life, but I think for the whole world. The more he shares, the better, more positive energy we can get. And Yeah, I just want to say a huge thank you for Chester to continue the journey that you recommended yourself as a kid, because it's so inspiring to me, and I know it does. It wears off on everybody else. So everybody, thank you very much. Put a hand for Chester Whitmore.
Thank you. Peter Loggins.
Kestis, do you have a question? I'm giving it to you. Okay. We have time for another question. If nobody wants to ask a question, it goes to you. Show some steps.
You see how you do that? You see how you do that?
Chester,
Okay.
show me the wiggle stick.
Okay, on here or up there?
Go right here.
Right here?
Wiggle stick.
Wiggle stick. Okay. You know, the camera's only over there.
And move a little bit over here.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, she gonna move it. Okay, call a step out and let's see if I can do it. Okay.
Wiggle stick.
Up a wiggle step. Okay.
I would like for you to show everybody and explain to everybody what is the actual authentic camel walk. Because the Lindyhop scene needs some serious help.
That's what. That and then later on went to.
Perfect, yes. Now, how about this one? Can you also explain maybe a little bit about the history of where it comes from? Might help. But exactly show everybody what is trucking.
Oh God, trucking is a step that came out of the cafes and the waiters, and they would come in and hold a tray, and they would come. They don't let's just walk up and go, yes, here's a dish and stuff. No, they would groove into it, and they even had trucking contests and stuff. So the trucking, when we did it in our class earlier today, some people go like this. I said, no, your weight is back, and it's like this. You do it one leg, do the other leg, and then when you slide it, then elevate the leg up here, and you do. And we had class today, and then we doubled it up. Hey, 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 and you would have trucking contests with the trays.
Spinning the trays.
You spinning the trays with your finger. It would rotate. You can go here, you can catch it with the other hand, go underneath, and still go with it without dropping the tray or the drink.
All right, there we go. Thank you for your short segment of historical steps. All right, you guys, thank you so very much. We're going to end this off now, and we will see everybody in just a little while. We're going to start the evening off. We have a while to go still, but we're going to start the evening off with the Strictly competition preliminaries with DJ Joseph, and we have some judges. And then, of course, our Saturday night party is going to start, and we have some great bands tonight. We have a new band tonight. Not a new band for here in Vilnius or the event. The Swing Band, it's a local band. They didn't play last night. They're amazing. And then later on, we're going to have of course, the band that played last night, the Hornsgatan Ramblers, a little bit later on with some great competitions. We have, let me see. Yeah, we have a lot to do tonight, you guys.
A whole bunch of
All right. Thank you guys so very much. We'll see you all just a little bit later. Thank you, Chester Whitmore.
Thank you. Man. Ta-da!